Parkertown, or 7 miles southwest of Sandusky, and it's drifting to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So a slow mover, but we'll get the latest radar on this, and I'm going to track it for you. So if you have any family or friends that live in this area, we're talking southwestern Erie County, northwestern Huron County, we have a brand new tornado warning until 11:45. Let me take off the sweeping radar. This is the area warned right now, that red box. It includes these towns. Okay, Wayers, Bloomingville, there's Parkerstown as you cross the turnpike south on Highway 4, near and just east of Bellevue. That's a highly populated area. Near Lyme and near North Monroeville and near Kimball westward, near Groton as well. That is your tornado warning in effect until 11:45 because of some rotation indicated by Doppler radar. I'm going to put a track on this for you as it's drifting to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So the main threat just on the north end of that, drifting toward Willard eventually. So these are the areas that need to take cover immediately. We advise you go to your basement, lowest area in your house, interior house, hallways, bathrooms, places that have no windows, like a closet or something like that. That'd be an ideal place to take cover. But near Lyme at 11:35, so that's once it gets out of this warned area. Havana 12:03, but it is drifting through parts of western and northern Huron County, western Erie County, and let's put the rotation on this. Let's take a look at the Doppler velocities and see exactly where we have some of that rotation. So you can see a nice couplet. Whenever you have the green next to that red, that is an area of concern. So it's right near and just west of, I think it's Groton. Let me zoom in a little bit closer for you. So just south of the turnpike and east of 269 seems the most likely place for that possible rotation. So we've zoomed into western, southwestern Erie County, just south of the turnpike, and the motion on this is to the south at 15 miles per hour. So if you have family, friends there, if you know of anybody that lives near the Bellevue area, anyone that lives near the, let's say, northwestern corner of Huron County, that is what we don't like to see. Do you see the red next to the green? That is your possible rotation, just crossing the turnpike, heading south, eventually over US 20 in the next 15, 30 minutes. But the active warning we have is for that possible tornado, and that says it's until 11:45. This was issued 11:11 on the air just before that warning came down, a new severe thunderstorm warning too, by the way. But this is our main priority right now when it comes to severe weather. We've zoomed into western Erie County, northwestern Huron County, and that warned area is for a possible tornado. Okay, this is a radar indicated warning. As you can see there, what has popped up. I'll take off some of those other warnings here momentarily. But if you live in this area, family or friends in this area, basement, a great place to go. Any interior rooms, get away from windows, get away from big rooms. Those are some of the worst places to go during this severe weather event. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We'll go over things here as we show you exactly the concerned area. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning. And in fact, a new one just came out. You see the new one here for parts of Huron County, eastern Seneca County. That's for damaging wind up to 70 miles per hour, some very heavy rain, and possibly large hail, quarter-size hail. But there's the warned area. You can see you got to look carefully here within the box. So we're talking southwestern Erie and then northwestern Huron. This is the concern just northeast of Tiffin. Bellevue would be right there. Downtown Sandusky's there. Not included in this, but we're talking the southwest corner of Erie, northwestern corner of Huron for the rotation above you drifting to the south. So the Weather Service was on this storm as it did cross over the islands, crossed over the Marblehead Peninsula, and then eventually down to the south and west. This warning goes all the way through 11:45. So as this storm drifts, it's not moving very fast. That's one of the big issues here. So it's going to be over some of the same areas for a while. So it's going to be perhaps a long-term thing to take cover. If you have to get into a bathroom or something, crank up the TV. You can join us. I believe we're going to be streaming shortly on Facebook Live. If the newsroom could pop us up there. If Kyle, our director, could let me know if the newsroom is available to get us on Facebook Live. If not, I'll do it with my phone right here in just a few moments. But one of the ways that we can help folks out when they're away from their TV sets. You can take your phone with you and hop on Facebook. So we'll try to get that efforted here in just a few moments. But the reason we have interrupted programming at 12 or 11:18 on this Wednesday evening is for a brand new tornado warning. This is in effect until 11:45. It includes southwestern Erie County, northwestern Huron County, and that storm was located just near Parkertown, at about 11:11 or 11:12 this evening. It's just about 7 miles southwest of Sandusky itself, and it's moving to the south at 15. So we are on Facebook. All right, we are not, but we hope to effort that in just a few moments to get on Facebook for folks if they are taking cover in the areas that we're warned about. So we're looking here at the southwestern corner of Erie. So Castelia, you are just north of the warned area, but I would be taking cover. You're close enough. There's Bloomingville. You've got Parkertown. That's the initial warned area. So that's just over the turnpike. It's where the initial rotation that prompted this warning developed, heading south pretty much along US 4 or Highway 4. Crossing over here near and east of Bellevue, and then near and just west of Monroeville as that storm is drifting to the south. So another great way we can see this, we showed a minute ago, was the velocity product, and we're still seeing a pretty good what we call a couplet. Let me put some estimated winds. Again, these are estimates on the Doppler. We'll see what pops up here when it comes to the amount of shear in the atmosphere. So on that part of the cell, gate-to-gate shear nearly 50 miles per hour. A little bit lower to the north, let's head over to the west. So velocity, 56. So again, that's why the Weather Service issues these warnings, is to give you time to take cover and get away from those dangerous storms that could be producing the possible tornado. So this is a Doppler warned system as it moves in, and it will be on the air until the warning's gone. We do cover severe thunderstorm warnings, and we do cover, active weather. We have a flood warning as well for parts of Erie, Ottawa, and Huron counties. But the main threat and the reason we're interrupting programming right now is for this tornado warning, and that goes until 11:45 p.m. southwest corner of Erie County, northwest corner of Huron County. We'll put this back in motion. I'm going to take the lightning off for you. You're watching 13 ABC's extended coverage of this storm. These storms have been popping up all night long just to our east. We've had inches and inches of rain over by Cleveland, near Lorain, just east of our viewing area, but finally had a couple cells form just north of the islands, came through with a light show, lightning, some gusty winds, had reports of tree damage in parts of Sandusky itself, and it's that particular cell that has now drifted into the southwest part of Erie County and the northwest part of Huron County. So we're focused here. So there's Sandusky, there's South Bass Island, Put in Bay, and you can see that it's just south of the turnpike now. The main warned area would be right about here where you see the 80 sign, the area just near and south that almost can kind of see a little tail on this. Not necessarily a hook with this cell, but just kind of a suspicious looking area right there east of the county line with Sandusky County, and then near the county line with Huron County. Okay, let's see here. The Weather Service is just updating things, so I'm trying to get information from them. As far as the warning, they're continuing that tornado warning, still in effect till 11:45. You can see the red box in the middle. At 11:20, the area that was of concern was between Bellevue and Kimball, or 9 miles northwest of Norwalk, moving to the south at 15 miles per hour. So let's zoom in and find the cities that they mentioned. That would be just east of Bellevue, just west of Kimball, and moving to the south at 15 miles per hour. So it's really, we're talking the extreme southwest corner of Erie County and the northwestern part of Huron County. So you see Bellevue, okay? So there's Bellevue. And then we have Kimball. If I zoom in a little bit closer, we should see Kimball pop up here in our map. I saw it a few moments ago. This is like an auto plot, so I'm trying to find the cities there. But I believe that is just into Huron County. So you see Lyme there, you see Monroeville, you see there's Kimball. Okay, so Kimball's up here. You've got Bellevue here. So we're talking probably right near Highway 4 here on the county line. That is the area that is most of concern to us when it comes to the rotation. We'll put our maps in motion. You can see the storm is not moving very fast. We've had these warnings before where it comes through and it's gone in just a few moments' time. But that warning has been chopped a little bit. So if you're north of the Turnpike in Erie County, you're safe for right now. So from about the Turnpike up 250, still a severe thunderstorm warning, but the tornado warning has actually dropped to the south. Let me put the area here. Let me take off the radar, and you can see it a little bit better. So there's your warning from Bellevue to North Monroeville to just west of Kimball. And then you head down along Highway 20, so just west of Monroeville, just north of Hunt's Corners. It includes Lime, and then east of Bellevue. So that is the warned area. Let me zoom out to give you perspective. That is our active tornado warning until 11:45 tonight for a radar-indicated rotation. So you've got severe thunderstorm warnings for most of Huron, western Erie, eastern Sandusky, and eastern Seneca. That's for gusty winds and hail and torrential rain. But that rotating part of the storm is where you see that red box. Also, the flood warning just reissued. That goes until 5:15. That includes Erie County, northeastern Huron County, and parts away from us. So Doppler radar indicated 2 to 4 inches, another 2 to 4 inches possible. So, folks, this could be a major flood event for those areas that are not even getting hit by these severe storms, but we're talking about the areas that may be just getting the heavy rain on the edges of that severe threat. So there's our weather in motion again. Updates keep coming in from the Weather Service. If you are hearing some noises here in the background, that's just an alert from my computer to say something's changed, whether it's an update from the Weather Service or a new warning or a cancellation. But we have interrupted programming for now when it comes to 13 Action News at 11 p.m. The reason for it is because of severe weather in the eastern part of the area. If you're watching from areas near or west of I-75, it's been a fairly sunny day. It's been a very hot day. Temperatures reach the 90s, heat index in the hundreds. But as far as areas east of Port Clinton, east of Fremont, east of Tiffin, these are the severe storms moving to the south at only 15 miles per hour. That's why rain is one of the biggest deals with this. But on the edge of this, and we see this sometimes when there's little lines, little kind of, I'll zoom out and show you, but almost like airplane wings developing. So we have one here, we have one here, we have one here, we have one here. On the edges of those, if you've ever seen an airplane wing, you get little eddies, and that can sometimes produce a quick spin up. And if the right environment's there, you can get either a funnel or a tornado to form. So that's why the Weather Service did issue this tornado warning until 11:45. So we're going to be on the air until 11:45 until the threat passes. If additional warnings do come in, of course, we'll stay on. I believe some other team members are on their way in right now as we take weather very seriously here at 13 ABC. So, but we're going to stay with you. Where do you want to go? Let's say you live here. You live in southwestern Erie. You live in northwestern Huron. Where do you go? Hopefully you know. We're talking basement. That's the #1 best place to go. And it doesn't matter where you go in the basement, preferably somewhere near sturdy furniture or perhaps if you can get to next to a couch or maybe under a table or something, that would be ideal. Or under the stairs would even be a great idea. But you just want to get away from windows, and the idea is to get as far in and as far down as you can get in the building. Maybe you're in an apartment building. Okay, maybe there's a laundry area where there aren't many windows, and it's usually on the lower floor, even the basement. And it has, of course, laundry, washing machines, and dryers to kind of protect you if there is any debris. Cover your head if you start hearing noises and the building starts to shake. So maybe take a helmet with you. Maybe take pillows. Maybe take a blanket with you to cover your head. Take your phone with you. We are streaming, I think, on Facebook Live now. Get confirmation. Hopefully we can get that from Kyle in our news. Okay, so we're going to work on that. But but we are on 13abc.com, so I'm getting word that we are on the website, so you can hop on that on your browser, on your telephone, hop on 13abc.com. We do have streaming coverage there, so if you need to, you can take your cell phone and get this live broadcast no matter where you go. If it's in your closet, if it's in your basement where you don't have a TV or something like that, you can take your phone so we can keep giving you this information. But the current warning we have, it's this little red box, southwestern Erie, northwestern Huron counties. It is a tornado warning until 11:45. So our current time, as this stops, is 11:28. So still about 15 more minutes where this rotation has been fairly tight. Now this is, again, the radar beam is above the ground. That's our first sign to get that indication there's something twisting. What has to happen from that point on is that twist comes down as a funnel cloud, and then it could touch down as a tornado. You can see some new warnings have just popped up here. Looks like they've just reissued. If you look here, they've reissued parts of Ottawa County, which includes the islands. So folks there that were at the bash on the bay, let's hope everyone got to take cover here. And I know Pitbull, I know Lee was mentioning this during the news, cut the show a little bit short tonight, perhaps in anticipation of the incoming weather, which was a great call by the staff there. And let's hope they had a plan in place to get folks to their rental houses, back on the boat. Not sure if that can come back in these storms. You know, if you're on the islands, I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to be on a ferry right now between the islands to get back to the mainland. So maybe people have a shelter and they're just hunkering down to let this pass. But our main concern, it's right here, southwestern Erie, northwestern Huron counties still have a tornado warning until 11:45. This storm already had the large hail, quarter-size hail, already had the possibility of 70-mile-per-hour winds. So that's a little higher. The normal warning's for 60. So whenever you hear them upgrade that to a 70-mile-per-hour wind threat, that would be something that is really of concern. All right, that new warning I talked about for Ottawa County, which would include the islands area, that would be a thunderstorm 7 miles north of Put-in Bay or Kelly's Island. So it's approaching the islands right now. It's moving to the south-southwest at 10. That one has 60-mile-per-hour winds possible and quarter-sized hail. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning for Ottawa County, and that goes until 12:30. So that's an hour long. So that's one thing with these storms, folks. They're going to be slow movers, flooding a definite possibility, large hail a possibility, and the chance for a little rotation. Even with that cell, right now it's warned for that wind and hail and rain, but we'll have to watch for any spin-ups that keep occurring here as these storms continue. So let me go and kind of summarize things while we're interrupting programming. It's 11:30 at night. You're watching 13 Action News. Had to interrupt the regular newscast to hop on for a tornado warning. Whenever there's one issued, we go on live until the threat has passed here at 13 ABC. So we're on right now. Got the news team kind of assembling and looking for any information they can get. Got the weather team assembling and the crew in the back as well, keeping us on the air and looking as good as we can and informing you folks. We're on our website right now, 13abc.com. So if you have to leave your television set and take cover, which would be this area, southwestern Erie and northwestern Huron County, you want to take your phone with you. So just 13abc.com, the live streaming button's there, hit that, and you should be able to see exactly what you're seeing on your TV set, and you can be away from your TV set that way. So, but we're going to be on until that's over. That warning for the possible tornado, that goes until 11:45, which is about 14 minutes from right now. All right, let me zoom into that spot that we're most concerned about. We're going to look at the rotation in this too. As you can see, the amount of lightning, insane amounts of lightning. Even if you're in Toledo, if you're in Defiance, if you're in Findlay, Bowling Green, if you're looking to the east at all, it is pretty much nonstop flashing as we're watching the tops of these clouds, and just the amount of ice up there is producing just frequent, vivid lightning. All right, so good news for Erie County. The tornado warning has been canceled for Erie County, so that's the good news. The bad news is in Huron County, that warning continues until 11:45. The storm is now located about 4 miles east of Bellevue, or 9 miles west of Norwalk, and still moving to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So let's zoom in. We talked about Bellevue a few times here, so just about to get near US 20, and we'll stop the radar. So here's Bellevue. We've zoomed into the northwest corner of Huron County. So Bellevue, even though you're officially on the very edge and outside of this, let's still take cover. If you were in a shelter, taking cover in Bellevue, let's stay there until the warning has passed. I know if you're just about a mile outside this, stay inside, okay? Because this storm is what we call back building a little bit. So rather than the storm kind of just moving this way, the storm's drifting south, but there's new stuff forming on the western flank of it. So Bellevue folks, I would stay in the shelter. There's Monroeville. You can see Norwalk on this map to the east. So well west of Norwalk, more like near and west of Monroeville, and near and east of Bellevue is the most threatened area, near the intersection of 4 and 20. And I'll zoom in a little bit closer here. So if you've ever gone to Cedar Point, Highway 4, one of the ways in from the Turnpike. Okay, we're going to look at the camera here in a second, but here's the spot I'm most concerned about, right near the intersection of Highway 4 and US 20 in northwestern Huron County. And I think Kyle has a live view for us. This is from the Cedar Point area, so you can see all the rides, the rain's falling, and there's the lightning I spoke of. So thank you. This is courtesy of Cedar Point, as it is a light show, and looks like the park is closed. It's 11:30 at night on a Wednesday. So very nice though. Hopefully you're sheltered in place in Erie County for that severe thunderstorm warning. Still a possibility of hail, gusty winds. And we're not done yet, okay? This is not just like a one-line kind of thing. Looking upstream, Detroit. Just saw a report from the Weather Service in Detroit. Copious amounts of hail in downtown Detroit, perhaps covering the ground. So think of a snowstorm. There's accumulation of hail. That's something we have to look for, as we are seeing some of those, see those white areas on the radar? Those indicate the cores of hail. There's a bunch out there. And that, again, is in Canada, southeast Michigan, and that's just going to cross the lake as it's all moving to the south. Yes, Lee.
Yeah, I'm not sure if my mic is on. If Kyle wants to turn me on here. We did get word, Jay, that the ferry was running from Put-in Bay not too long ago. Imagine all those people, coming in from the Pitbull concert. We're talking 8,000 to 10,000 people. And you mentioned to the north, that continues to just funnel down ever so slowly over Lake Erie here from the Detroit area. And looking at it, is that basically a train north to south almost? It's moving so slowly here.
Moving so slowly, it's almost stationary.
Yeah.
When you talk about it building back where it already hit, so yes, the official storm's moving to the south at 15, but really it is a stationary cell, and it's near and just north of the island. So maybe they're trying to beat this one in, because some of the lighter rain at this moment is from Catawba Island up to South Bass Island.
And we do have some damaged pictures that have, our Tony Geft is coming back, filed that report, sent in some damage from near Catawba Island. Tree down, power lines down there as well. Okay,
we also have a live pic from Port Clinton. So there's the view, my goodness. There's the view of the lightning strikes, and you can, it just lights up the water there. It's so bright and so vivid. So that's a lie. That's not like a time-lapse video, folks. I think they're just panning the camera. Thank you, Shores and Islands, for providing this feed. But there's the flag, a little windy out there. This is from Port Clinton, looking, I believe, off to the east. And the seas are angry, right? You got those choppier waters because of the gusty winds. So let's just hope everyone's safe there on the islands with the big event tonight, Bash on the Bay, and hopefully the ferry can do as much as it can. I know one of our employees here has a relative on the ferry right now. So let's hope that she gets there safely. And these folks know what they're doing. They have dealt with severe weather and high winds, and they're professionals. So we're hoping for the best there. But again, looking live here from Port Clinton at the vivid lightning, the gusty winds, and it's still raining over there near and just east of Port Clinton. The reason, though, we're breaking into programming, interrupting Jimmy Kimmel at this point, we had to break into the newscast about 11:11. Is when we actually 11:10. They issued the warning just about a minute after that, or a few seconds after that. But we've been on nonstop now with team coverage. We've got Aaron Ashley walking in the building right now to help out and to gather information from the Weather Service, to analyze the data from the radar, and we'll be on here until the threat is done. So this first warning that we have continues for about 6 or 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes or so. It's for northwestern Huron County. So from Bellevue to Monroeville up to the county line just north of Sherman, looks like a few miles north of Sherman. That is the warned area for possible rotation. The storm does have the history of large hail over quarter-sized. It does have the history of some wind damage. I know we've had reports from Catawba Island, the Sandusky area. With this, as it moved through, it was at that point severe. but then it got some rotation signatures on the radar. So that's why we're not doing regular programming right now. We're actually doing wall-to-wall coverage and just telling folks to take cover. If you are in this red box, let me remove the radar so you can see where it is. We advise that you get to your basement, okay? Get inside. Get to an interior room. Get away from the exterior walls. As many walls between you and the outside is best. As low as you can get in your building, that's best as well. Cover your head. Take your cell phone. We are on 13abc.com streaming live for you to take with you just in case you need to leave the TV. So there's the square. Let's kind of draw this for you, okay? We've got from just south of Bellevue. Again, I think Bellevue, I would stay inside. Near North Monroeville, you head south to just west of Monroeville itself, north of Hunts Corners, and then to the county line. I think that's 269 right there. So that is your official tornado warning. Goes until 11:45, surrounded by severe thunderstorm warnings. One of those, Ottawa County, goes until 12:30. I think the rest of them go till about midnight, if not later. So those other ones are for damaging wind, perhaps up to 70 miles per hour, and some large hail, and flooding rain too. Don't want to forget the flood aspect of this. We do have rainfall estimates over 2 or 3 inches in parts of these counties. And Lee and I were talking about how slow the storms are moving. So we're talking possibly over 4 or 5 inches easily in portions of Erie and Huron counties as we go through the night. So we're going to be watching this again for the next 5 or 6 minutes nonstop. If and when this warning is expired on time, we'll kind of hop off here and perhaps hop on Facebook for folks that still need some information, because this is really only affecting, maybe 3 or 4 counties in the viewing area. Yeah. But where it is affecting people, it is a serious situation. Rotation above, a tornado warning till 11:45 for northwestern Huron County, and that's why we're on live. So thank you for coming in, Erin Ashley.
Yes,
yes, absolutely. A late night for you, so we appreciate the help. But she's looking at radar, she's checking out the data here, and she's pointing at some new information just in from the Weather Service.
Just in, they had expired that tornado warning there for Huron County. That was just in.
Okay, let's read the information here. Yeah. So the tornadic thunderstorm, which they were watching, has moved out of the warned area. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. So that's great news. So in just a moment, you're going to see, let me turn on the velocities just to see what we can see here. Mm-hmm. So still some rotation, but what we're not seeing here when it comes to areas, again, the warned area was this area here, this right over there, kind of on 20. Okay, we're on Facebook now as well, so if you folks need to go to Facebook, we are there. Just search for 13ABC. But more of a general spin. Still some brighter colors out west. Could be a little bad data just north of Bellevue. We're watching it. But this area, let me go back in time.
Just broad rotation there.
Yeah, and do you see the difference in colors, folks, from the pinks and bright greens? So this pink and bright, that is a definite signature of some rotation, fairly tight too.
Yeah.
And that was at 11:05, right before the warning issued. Warning was issued right about here at 11:12, and that cell still pretty intense. And you see how the colors become a little more muted as we go through time. So we'll take you to the current time, and that picture looks a lot more tranquil for the moment when it comes to that particular cell. So some great news to pass along. That warning was canceled just a few minutes early. The tornado warning, which was in effect until 11:45, Weather Service said, you know what?
We're going to cancel it.
Let's give folks the update and make sure things are good.
Yeah, and our partners down at NWS Cleveland are saying that, again, they're just identifying that the rotation is still there, but it's not tight enough to warrant the continuation of that warning, which is wonderful to see, but at the same time, we're still under those severe thunderstorm warnings until their expected expiration. Yes,
and they mentioned, too, on the edge of the storm. So I talked about kind of the analogy with an airplane wing, that the wind goes down that wing, and at the end, sometimes if you're landing or taking off, you can see little spins, condensation, if you will. And that is much like what's happening now, as the storms have been near Cleveland all day, producing these outflows, and on the edge of that, we got a little spin up. At least in the atmosphere, we've had no reports of any touchdowns of a tornado in the area. We have had reports of wind damage, perhaps straight line in Sandusky. I know our own Tony Geftis is in Catawba Island, or was, and I think he reported there were some areas with damage there as well from the wind. as the storm came on shore. So if you are watching from anywhere east of I-75 tonight, that's where the highest threat is for the severe weather. But we're still watching what's going on north of Detroit, and it bears watching. Our computer models have been kind of back and forth the last few days. Some of the stuff we were seeing we haven't seen in a long time, with rain from the east moving to the west, even though the wind was from west to east. And this situation might play out where the cells to our north, which we're watching up here near Detroit, they may start sinking a little bit more to the south, and these cells may start moving a little bit more to the southwest. So it's something we are watching carefully when it comes to the trend with this huge area. I mean, it's 1143, and look at the lightning. And that is a large area. And even those cells over Lake Erie, do you see a little bit of a shift? Kind of in this area, a little bit of a shift here. So something we're watching, Aaron.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And besides just those developing cells over Detroit, we're still watching the concern of flooding. We're still very much under those flood watches out in Huron and Erie counties, I believe until 4:30. Is that how early it was?
4:30 is, I'll look it up, the flood watch. At 11:30, the Weather Service says they expanded the flood watch to include most of northwest Ohio.
All right.
So that is an update.
Okay.
We'll look it up here, folks. All right. So you're watching 13 ABC. You're looking at a large radar loop.
Yeah, there it is.
Of the radar. This is a live look here from the Vermilion area. I think those are buoys. Perhaps flashing. There you go.
It is.
There's some lightning. So still lots and lots of lightning to deal with, which means to us there's more than your normal, daytime heating, more than the normal storms flare up during the afternoon and go away at night. How often have we said, okay, when the sun sets, the fuel for these storms goes away? A lot, okay?
A lot.
Not the case tonight. What we have is then the atmosphere. We have all kinds of moisture. We have all kinds of wind. We have this low-level jet kicking in, going up over the rain-cooled air. So it's just a continuous feed of energy and moisture for these storms. Did you see the CAPE, okay, for folks that are scientists out there? The energy, we talk in numbers and fancy stuff, but it was over 7,000 at like 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. That's an unreal number for any day of the year.
Any day of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think in my so long career I've seen it above 3,000, let alone 7,000 when the sun is down. Well, Jay, I know on my way in, lightning was just flickering everywhere. And I mean, I wasn't in the heart of these storms. So areas across all of Northwest Ohio are seeing the lightning. They're seeing just how bright and how severe this storm is.
Right. Even though you're not hearing the rain or getting the wind, if you just take a peek out your window, I think in any direction, you might see that reflection or at least see the lightning from the tops of these clouds, which could be 40, 50,000 feet tall. So,
Totally.
So some great vivid views. And I want to mention too for folks, besides the storms, again, the tornado warning has been canceled. That's the good news. We do have severe weather where you see some of these storms, but it is just a hot night. And it's not going to be a long-term event here, but we know not everyone has the air conditioning. Not everyone has a place where it's nice and cool at night, where it's just, it's so hot and muggy and you can't get comfortable and you can't sleep very well. And perhaps you have children and they're just not comfortable and you're trying to comfort them with some cold water or whatnot. So that is a big factor tonight too. Right now it's about 85 degrees.
And it feels
I'm
like
trying to see if we have it up. 85 on our maps and it feels like 95 degrees. So if there's any way you can get the air moving, fan, get to a basement, okay, because it's, one, you're safe from the storms. Two, the cold air sinks, and it can be significantly cooler.
And the hot air rises.
Right. So let's say you have a choice, upstairs or downstairs. Maybe sleep on the couch tonight on that first floor, because that'll be a few degrees cooler than upstairs where the heat is rising.
Of course, and if you're in any sort of location with these storms, by all means, like Jay was saying, that's the place you want to be anyways. You want to be away from those windows. Keep the windows shut. The lowest and most interior room of your house. And that goes for even people who aren't in the line of these storms. Maybe it's just the most comfortable place for you to be right now.
Yeah, so that flood watch, again, we are looking at the flood watch, getting the information right now. Upload the file.
Yeah, rainfall amounts of 2 to 5 inches are possible still through
Okay.
with that flood watch. Again, that's going to be for areas including Oak Harbor, Upper Sandusky, Tiffin, Sandusky, Huron, Fremont, Norwalk, Port Clinton, east of I-75. That's where we're looking at right now. Even areas that are not even in that severe thunderstorm warning right now as we speak. You're still kind of in that line, in that danger zone, that track, I should say,
Correct.
of that incoming storm.
You
Even
can
what's
see.
coming up from Detroit is still very much developing, just because even though the sun has set, we still have the proper ingredients to have these storms develop.
And it is a train of rain. And within that, we have embedded strong to severe storms, where you see the warnings, which include parts of Ottawa, Erie, Huron, eastern Sandusky, eastern Seneca counties. There's a possibility of winds over 60 miles per hour. Still a chance of hail, quarter size or even bigger. The torrential rain, the frequent lightning, and still watching for little bits of rotation within this large area. You can almost see three kind of distinctive bands trying to set up here. Let me stop the loop. You've got one over Norwalk. That's weakening, thankfully. That prompted that warning earlier. There's one here, and there's one here. And they are just feeding off of that wind in the mid-levels of the atmosphere tonight in the same spot. So we have a front in the area. You've got the difference from the folks that were in the 90s today, folks that were in the 70s today. You got the high dew points. The dew point at 11 o'clock tonight was 77 degrees, which is near the record of 81. The record that we've ever recorded here in Toledo was 81 degrees a few years ago. But just all those combined, making it for a very active night. So if you're watching again from Toledo, Bowling Green, Wauseon, Napoleon, Defiance, saying it has not rained at all today, this is why we're on. For folks to our east, the Port Clinton area, the Islands area with that big event tonight, Bash on the Bay. I think Pitbull kind of shortened his set to get the show done a little bit earlier to let folks perhaps get off the island, get back to their houses or whatnot. So kudos to those folks.
Yeah, or at least not be in outdoors.
Right, on an
during
open field
this.
during a storm.
Yes.
It wasn't just lightning. Let's hope they were aware and they had a plan in place. So I think Kyle said we have a live action cam. So this is high atop our transmitter, 950 feet. We're looking off to the east-southeast, and all those flashes, that's lightning. So that's from the Oregon area. So if you're in Oregon, you might not have this great vantage point from almost 1,000 feet. But you're seeing those flashes, just nonstop. It's almost like a strobe light effect with those storms that are to our east. And that's why we're on TV right now. We might hop off here in a few minutes because that tornadic cell has weakened a little bit. But we will be on social. We will be on our website with information. We'll be on TV if we need to break back in here for the overnight. But right now, thankfully, what you're looking at is strong storms, gusty winds over 60 miles per hour possible, large hail, and what may end up being the biggest widespread thing is the rain.
Absolutely.
The rain, heavy rain.
Yeah, we're talking rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour, Jay.
Right.
Per hour.
And it's not one of those lines moving this way. It is just a train. We're on the track, okay? The area's getting the rain right now. Port Clinton, Sandusky, Norwalk, Islands. You're on the train track, and those showers just keep coming slowly, too. They're slow moving. It's like one of those trains. You ever get trained? Right? You pull up, and you're like, okay, the train's moving like at 2 miles per hour. All right, that's the train tonight, because this is not a quick-moving train. It's one, the track is not moving, and two, the train itself is moving at 15 miles per hour, not 50. So that's why some of these rain amounts may top 4, 5, 6 inches, which we picked up on. We were talking earlier this week behind the scenes. We said, okay, our predictor was saying some areas could see 6, 7, 8 inches. We said, is this a snow forecast?
No.
No. And it was picking up on this. We kind of hedged our bets a little bit, said, okay, let's wait for the next run, and it backed off. But what it saw is kind of happening right now with the rain hitting the same spot over and over.
Especially east of I-75. I know a lot of us haven't even seen a drop of rain all day, and some of us might not see a drop of rain for the rest of the night, but what we're seeing right now is very dangerous in terms of who is seeing rain, and will continue to see that rain even well into the overnight and early morning hours, Jay.
Correct. So severe weather continues for the eastern areas. If you could you get a summary of the warnings from the Weather Service? Here's a pen and some paper, just so we can give folks the idea. Let me put this in motion. I'll just kind of go over the current situation, but we can give folks that and then perhaps hop off the air here for a few moments and gather the information, because the good news is the reason we are on wall-to-wall interrupting Jimmy Kimmel, we interrupted the newscast after about 11:11 tonight, was a tornado warning that was issued, and that was for southwestern Erie and northwestern Huron. And nothing has come from that. No reports of any violent wind damage in that particular area yet. And no reports from the Weather Service or the emergency managers or law enforcement. But we'll be looking carefully to see if anything did happen in this area with the warning. But whenever that happens, we hop on the air instantly and stay on the air, just to give you folks knowledge and information so you can plan and keep you and your family safe. Now, we do realize much of the area is not seeing rain right now, but all of the area is seeing the heat. So that's why it's a first alert weather day, a first alert weather night, because of storms. The uncomfortable heat tonight, we're in the 80s, feels like the mid-90s, and you can just see it. Aaron mentioned this, that even if you're in Toledo saying, okay, there's no rain here, just look to your east. This is a very violent setup, flooding rain with 4-6 inches of rain possible. Large hail could damage perhaps vehicles, if you get a quarter size or bigger. Damaging winds, we've had some tree damage reported in Catawba Island and Sandusky. We're thinking straight line winds with those, but we'll check things out. And, just folks, it's going to be a tough ride tomorrow morning with all the standing water. The water has to go somewhere, it takes time. So flooding rain, damaging wind possible, large hail possible, and still, as we look in these storms with Doppler radar, there's still little spins kind of here and there. It's a very chaotic pattern. It's not just one line moving through, but this line is hitting the same spot over and over and over from parts of Huron, Erie, Ottawa, eastern Sandusky, and eastern Seneca counties. This does include the islands, by the way, for that warned area, for all of the factors I just mentioned. Now, we are watching too up in Detroit. You see a couple of cells forming here between Ann Arbor and Detroit, right there. You don't always see that. Yes, if it was 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, okay, it's a hot day, things bubble up, right? But there's a whole different scenario going on right now. We have a front in the area, we have a low-level jet in the area, we have moisture available, we have cold air above this. It's very unstable. And why we didn't see storms earlier, for you scientists again, we had a cap in place. All right, so it was almost too hot in the mid-levels of the atmosphere to rain. So the air starts to rise, and it stops, okay? It becomes what we call stable. But as we get enough of this, kind of this jet, and the right ingredients to keep going on tonight, the air becomes unstable. It starts to rise, and we get this what we call convection, and we get thunderstorms to form. So a lot of science there for you tonight, but that's why we're seeing this unusual complex of storms at 11:55 at night, when normally this would happen during the day and calm down at night. But we're on the edge of that heat dome. You felt it today for about 2/3 of the area with highs in the 90s, and some of that energy now being used between the cooler areas today and the hot areas today. That's where the storms like to travel sometimes, is right down that kind of slope. And we're seeing that right on that boundary between folks that, like Sandusky today, mid-70s, upper 70s. But then Toledo, 93. I think a few spots to the west of that, 94, 95 for a high today. And that made all the difference in what's going on for the overnight. So the warnings we have right now, Aaron's gathering the data, but they do include parts of Ottawa County, okay, from Port Clinton, you're in this, all the way to the east. We've got the western part of Erie County, the western part of Huron County, Sandusky County, eastern part of that county, and eastern part of Seneca County. Also severe thunderstorm warnings, and those warnings continue for damaging wind possible. Got some larger hail, quarter size, and there's the rain and the lightning. All kinds of lightning and very heavy rain hitting the same spot with those flood warnings, flood watches, and we could see those right through the morning. This will be a long-term event here when it comes to the rain. Even if the storms calm down a little bit, it looks like rain will not.
Absolutely. And as far as getting all that data, and the severe thunderstorm warnings all go until 12:15.
Okay, so that's wonderful to hear. So that'll be done here in about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes.
Not to say they won't issue any new ones.
That's just what we're currently seeing.
Okay, so that does include then eastern and central Ottawa County. Let me stop this, and we'll give you a tour of the warnings before we do head off here. I'll give you a second to click on these. Okay, so here we go. So Ottawa County, that warning.
That warning till 12:15.
Okay, we head down into eastern Seneca, western Erie, which does include the city of Sandusky and Bellevue. That's until 12:15. Norwalk, Huron County, from Willard to Greenwich into eastern Seneca. That warning goes until 12:15 as well. And those orange areas, that's for the wind of 60-mile-per-hour gusts possible. Hail quarter size.
Yes.
And again, we mentioned the lightning. And the lightning comes with any storm, but the hail as well. Let me turn lightning back on. Look at this.
Lighten up the
man.
night sky.
So there's your map showing pretty much covering up the radar data with the amount of lightning we have. Flood
kidding.
watches all the way until tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
correct?
no kidding. For Ottawa, Sandusky, Erie, Seneca, Huron, Wyandotte. Essentially, if you're east of that I-75 besides Hancock, Wood, and Lucas counties.